Hey folks, today we're going to tie something different. It's not an actual pattern, it's just I got some really cool dyed gray wolf in the mail from Shor, and I was sizing it up and looking at it. I've tied bombers with these before, with orange and green and purple. I seen this yellow there. I was like, you know what, like I think a natural body sunburst hackle and then this yellow gray wolf for wings would look pretty cool, so figured why not, yep, and record it. So anyway, this stuff fishes pretty good. I like it, and it just really looks cool, so we'll try that. So I'm tying on a Daiichi 2117 number 6. So when I'm gonna do I guess you would kind of call it like a wolf style bomber. And the way that I do them, not saying that it's the way you should do them, or it works for me and this is why I do it this way. But I've never actually sat down and watched somebody tie this type of bomber before. This was one of those things where I kind of learned this on my own, and I don't know, could be doing it wrong. Feel free to leave it in the comments. So I'm gonna get my gray wolf and I'm gonna get some out. I think this is gonna look slick. I'm using roe deer for the body today as well. One thing about this stuff is there's a pile of underfur, so when we're dealing with that, you grab these guard hairs, which is what you're going to be using, really tightly, and just kind of pull that stuff out, the fluff, the underfur. Where's my professional grooming brush? Toothbrush works great for this. I watched a video earlier with another tying partner with Shor, and he was using those brushes you use for getting grit out from under your fingernails. Oops. So I like it, and I really like that kind of mentality too, where people just kind of grab whatever they got close to them and make do. It helps having great tools and stuff, but when you're in a pinch, it's good to know that you can improvise. Like a MacGyver tire. This was kind of, alright, that came out for me. So when we're sizing up the wings, like we did with the bombers in a previous video, you still want to be roughly halfway down the shank. This stuff doesn't bend as well as calftail does, but it's still pretty easy to work with. We're going to still put our taper that we talked about before in there. And you know what? Just because it's a little bit slippery, I'm going to put a little dab of head cement on it. And that should just lock it all in place pretty good. Don't be afraid to use a little dab of head cement every now and then. That's not going to affect the floating capabilities of this fly by any means, but could be the difference of keeping your wing in one spot. So that's probably a bit higher than we'd like. Who cares? Let's try it. Not following a pattern, doing my own thing. I mentioned in one of my last videos, sorry, that like following patterns is great. I mean, obviously those patterns have been around for a long time because they work so well. But if you don't have people that's out creating new patterns and trying new things, then you're always stuck with the same patterns. I mean, it's not really a lot of fun in that. I made a comparison to, there's a lot of beautiful paint by numbers out there, but it's not an original piece. You create your own artwork and you'll be that much prouder if it's effective. And when you think about it, how many patterns would we not have now if somebody didn't take that chance? I mean, even recently we had the Skittles bomber, the Nimbus. So, I don't know. Try whatever you can. Don't worry about what other people say. Paul White's Dirty Bomber. So we're just going to match this up with our back wing, and I'm actually going to shorten it just a little bit too, because there we go. I think that front wing was just a little bit too long. This may look terrible when we're done, who knows. I'm not going to worry about it, it'll catch fish. Alright, so we're using Sunburst Hackle. For a number 6, I mean, that's a good length there, but we're going to try something today too with this style of bomber. Oh, that's really short in the front. With this style bomber, like the wolf style, you're going to use one size hackle in the back, and then when you put the front hackles on, it's going to be significantly longer. And that's going to create that like bushy front part that you see with this style of bombers. These are, and I'm only saying this because this is my understanding that these are very popular in the Gaspé area and in Quebec. We don't use these a lot in Newfoundland. I don't know why not, but I think I'm going to start trying to use them a little bit more. They look cool. Something different. See? Something different. Alright, so we tape off. I got deer hair all over me. Get that tackiness off the tape a bit. This guards your hackle and keeps you from trimming your tail or anything too. Alright, so this will be the third time me saying this, but I'm just going to keep saying it every time I do a video. We start with a smaller clump in the back, because when you trim, this is going to be the shortest deer hair in the back. You need to be able to get it down. If you put too much hair on, that means your thread will be off the shank on top of a big pile of hair, and you have a way bigger chance of clipping that thread, and that's a real bummer, because that clump's coming off, and then every one you put on afterwards, that's a game changer. You can't come back from that. You're retying your deer hair. How nice is this roe deer though? See that poof? It's really, really nice. I also just realized I didn't put tape on in the front. And yeah, we're just gonna compress it as we put it on. You just brush this back before you compress it, like so. And then we use our fingers again as a compression tool. You got your hard surface of your nails going up against this fur. I clamp down around the shank, and and give it a little twist. It'll help it move. I don't tie on a bare shank. Some people swear by doing that because the hair slides around better. I actually don't want that hair sliding around when I tie, and it's just a personal preference. Like, I find having that thread underneath is kind of like grip tape on a skateboard. So see, when we brush it back as we're coming around, it kind of cleans it up a bit. That's really important to remember when you're using two separate colors on the body. I posted a video, my last video I posted was tying the buck bug, and we talked about why that's important to do. So as we're getting closer up here, one thing you're going to notice that we're going to do here is we're going to stop prematurely than we normally would. And it's because we're going to want to leave a gap from here to where the fur is, because we're going to be wrapping hackle around that and creating that bushy head. This will actually probably come close to doing it. I'll do another one. And full disclosure, I'm not completely comfortable tying these, and I kind of went back and forth on if I should do a video on one, but you know what? If you're seeing this, I guess I was happy enough with it. Should give it a couple more wraps. When I'm wrapping, I try to do 4 or 5 turns, I think. I don't know. Alright, so we're going to try to have this standing up, make your wraps, and brush this back as you're making your wraps until you get that, like a flat end on it. And we'll just use a half hitch to tie off, because we're going to be coming over this with thread anyway. You can be, you don't have to be too precise with this tie off if there's deer hair in it and stuff, because you're basically going to come in and you're going to trim it all up anyway. Don't worry about it. All right, I just had to stop for a second and change the lighting in here. I got fading light outside, and I had to add an extra light, so hopefully you guys can see a little bit better now, and sorry for the difference between the lighting. All right, we're trimming up the back here. We're going to be using that as a guideline. When we come down with our scissors, this is going to be in the cone shape and not the cigar shape. So when we're doing our cone shape, we're coming in at this angle, and we want the tip of our scissors basically to be hitting that or close to it. And we watch our horizon and its relation to where the hook shank is in the back. You're going to get some resistance if you're coming too close, and you should just back off and reassess where you're at with your scissors if you're feeling a lot of resistance or your scissors are really dull. Hopefully it's not the latter. I'm going to burn this body actually, just to, it always gives me a nice rounded front up here when I do it, when I'm tying this style. So, but I'm still going to trim up a bit here. And you don't want to do the angle here. You're trying to get like more of a flat. If you looked at other videos I posted, I'm always angling my scissors in the front, but that's because we're trying to make that bomber shape, but this works better as a flat. And if you use fire properly, you wait, I'm gonna mess this up. I won't edit it out if I mess it up. I'll let you see it. We should be able to own our mistakes, right? I'm gonna end up over trimming this too. All right, I'm just gonna stop there. And where's my fire? All right. Not bad, that works. I don't have my razor with me, that's in the other room, so I won't make you wait. I'll just use my scissors. Oh, that turned out really well. Kinda, yeah, I'll take it. All right, so I'm gonna take our tape off in the back. it's really on there. And I'll just get rid of that so you guys can see it from this angle up here. And let's take our front tape off. Have another quick look at the body. I see some hair hanging out back here. Be very careful, come over top of that hackle. Spend all that time trying to get the body looking good, and then you gotta come down through it with your thread. I'm using white thread. I figure I didn't have any yellow thread actually, so I just figured that that would kind of blend in. Ooh, I must clip something. I bet you I burned it. Did I save it? Are we still good? I'd improvise, say improvise. I think we're good. Yeah, we'll be fine there. Hey, I think I shortened that wing. Everything happens for a reason. Yeah, that looks good. I was kind of stoked about this bomber, but I don't know. I don't do the bodies on this style of bomber with a lot of hackle wraps, just because it could be overwhelming. Kind of try to space them out a little bit. It's like something's let go in this bomber. There I go, use my deer scissors again. All right, so we got to form a split wing for this. When we form our split wing, basically we're going to take this and just kind of judge it what's equal halves. That's, I need some more. And you can feel it between your fingers when you get, you know, rolling it around. So that's about, and you're gonna just kind of come around one with a couple wraps. Come around, oh geez. The other, what's going on here? Now, I'm having a really hard time with this. It's better. And don't worry about like how messy that looks there, because it'll all cover up. So you got your split wing there, and we're gonna just kind of build it up so it's standing up. And remember how we do that again, we just come in under this wing and we build up the thread a bit. This is kind of, it's difficult when you're wrapping hackle because the hackle doesn't come over that well, that big bump of thread you have underneath. And honestly, if somebody has a better option, I would love to hear it. I'm always looking to learn new ways of doing things, and I mentioned at the start of this video that I did teach myself how to do this. So I'm sure that there's a new way of, or a better way of doing it. So for the top, we look, this is just a, I think this is a number 2 Mets. You get a lot of these shorter ones. I know people that use these on bombers, the dirty bomber. They work really well for this front hackle as well. Even the webby stuff, like I use the webby stuff as well. So the webby stuff gives you a fuller look in the front. We'll use this. And also when I'm tying this in, I usually tie it in from the other end of the hackle. And that's because it's easier to I think it's Palmer's backwards easier. And it goes from smaller to larger hackle, which looks better on this as well. I don't know if that's going to be too long or not. Let's try it. Nice thing about this part now is you can always go back and just take it off and start over and put something else on. Come up to where we're going to stop. If this works out, I think we'll put a UV head on this as well. So we're going to wrap, and you're trying to get each wrap right next to the last, so you have a pretty full body there. Sometimes this stuff starts misbehaving a bit. Now, this is where you can start brushing it back as you wrap. Actually, usually I come between the wing. What's going on here? There we go, that's better. Again, you can see that I'm not overly comfortable tying these. I don't do a whole lot. But as you brush it back, you make another pass. You know what? I really like this. That turned out to be a really good length hackle. I thought it was going to be too long, but it looks pretty good. Push that back. Bring that around. Brush that back. Bring that one around. Let's do one more. Brush that back. And tie off. Don't worry about hairs sticking out and stuff right now. Oh yeah, I like that. I'll fish that all day long. You can bring these forward. We got a little bit of a mess up there. I'll show you guys a cool trick for getting rid of that stuff. We're gonna tie this off because I think, you know, a white head just doesn't look good on this at all. Let's put some color into it. Use some UV reflective material. Trim this off a little bit. Man, I can't stop using my deer scissors. Yeah, here we go. Got some globe right here. It's like a peachy orange sort of color. I think that'll look really cool on this. Apparently it's the same exact color of what I have on there. Tell me that doesn't look rad. And don't worry about flattening that out. We're gonna just use a brush and our fingers to just fluff it right back up. Had a guy message me the other day and say, hey, he posted a video of him using his hand to whip finish, and he was trying to show me. I was like, you know what, it is cool. I should learn how to do it. Oh, man, I love this. I would fish this all day long. On a nice sunny day, yeah. I'm so glad we chose these colors. By we, I mean me. Hey, did you guys subscribe to my channel yet? One thing I didn't, I missed out here on doing is, so when I had originally tied this hackle in here, the longer stuff, I should have left my thread back here, brought my hackle forward, let my hackle hang with a pair of hackle pliers on it, and then brought my thread in around it, because now this thread's pretty exposed. It's not buried in this deer hair, and any kind of teeth is going to just shred that. This is probably going to fall apart. So that would be a wolf style bomber or a Gaspé style bomber. You fluff it up afterwards. Looks pretty good, right? Right. All thank you guys very much. I appreciate all the support everybody's been giving me, all the private messages and stuff on YouTube. If you haven't subscribed to my channel already, I'd love for you to. If not, just keep enjoying the videos. I hope this helps. If there's anything I could be doing different or a pattern you want me to try, feel free to leave it in the comments section, and I'll definitely try to get at it. So thank you very much, and see you next time.